Hello and welcome to Beauty and the Gi, a podcast about all things grappling and life on and off the mat from the female perspective. I'm Jen Eads, a white belt full of questions and curiosity about all things jiu-jitsu.
And I'm AJ Clingerman, a Brazilian jiu-jitsu purple belt, a little obsessed with jiu-jitsu.
All right, AJ, tell us all about Role Model Camp.
Yeah, I think it went fantastic. It was, from my perspective, it went amazing. So we ended up with right at 160 women from 13 states, 2 countries. Yeah.
That's incredible.
It was amazing. It was amazing. I don't know even really who came the furthest. I mean, probably the Canadians. I do know we had one girl drive from Wyoming. We had several girls drive from Texas. And I mean, people really came from far and wide. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. I think it went great. Everyone trained hard, learned tons. I've gotten so much amazing feedback since. Everyone is just really happy with it. So yeah.
I was happy too. It was a lot of fun, and not knowing what to expect exactly, having not ever been there, I really loved it. I was exhausted.
Right. Yeah.
But I absolutely loved it.
I literally had women coming up in tears at the end of camp, just thank you for this experience. It was amazing.
That's nice.
So, yeah.
Very cool.
I didn't sleep at all the whole weekend.
Oh my God.
I was just so pumped up the entire time that I was just on fire. I could not sleep. And then Sunday night at 11:30, I was just laying on my bedroom floor, fully clothed, can someone put me to bed?
I will tell you, I slept really well all weekend.
That's good. That would have been the better choice.
Yeah.
It just wasn't what my body was in for.
I was exhausted, the best kind of exhausted.
Yes.
And I think exhausted from the physical piece of it, but then also the social.
Yeah. I mean, because it to an extent, it's a lot, especially you tend to work by yourself more. So it's a lot of peopling.
It was a lot of peopling.
But it was great. I didn't see anybody be snappy or snippy or, and we kind of talked about it before, but, women get a bad rap for being catty or hard to get along with. And, so many women are well, I don't have any, friends that are women because I don't get along with other women. And it wasn't like that. It was just amazing.
Yeah. I think the most drama I witnessed was a lively discussion around tater tots at dinner. That's about as heated as it got.
A pro and con list?
Kind of. Yeah.
So which side were you on?
I am pro tater tot.
Pro tater tot. Okay.
But then so what I learned from this discussion is that there are sweet potato.
Oh my God, I'm so in for sweet potato tots. I can't talk, but I love to eat them.
Well, now there is a bag of them in our freezer upstairs because I love tater tots. Now I feel like I get a healthier choice.
Right.
So that was one of my big takeaways from camp.
Okay, good. I'm glad you were given healthier options for your tater tot choices.
Right.
Hey, whatever helps.
Exactly.
So tell me about, from your perspective, what do you think about camp? What were some of your favorite parts?
I loved it. Well, one of the things that you said that we should do in a previous episode that I didn't exactly do was make a new friend every day. I can talk on podcasts. Talking face-to-face to people is a little more challenging. But I feel like I really got to know my teammates a lot better. So I felt like I had a little safety net with them and I got to know them better. So I feel like that was kind of a good entry into camp. And I have the best teammates, so why wouldn't I want to hang out with them anyway and get to know them a little better? So,
nice.
So that was really fun for me because, you don't, there's so much going on in class all the time and training that you don't really get to hang out.
Right.
So it was nice to have that time at dinner just to hang out and get to know everybody a little better.
I heard a lot from so many different women that, they all drove together, they came together, they stayed together, whatever, but how much they built the relationships amongst the women of their team, which is amazing. And then so many women that were just kind of getting burnt out on jiu-jitsu a little bit and that it just reinvigorated them. So
nice.
I really like that.
Yeah, it was great.
I wrote in my notes, Friday night, I'm who did you make as a friend tonight? And I was like, can I count Emily Kwok? Because I mean, we weren't really friends before. And now, you know, like, I was like, can I count her?
I'm going to say yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. So Emily's my new BFF. But then Friday night, a bunch of us went to dinner, and I think just a handful of us were going, but when we got there, the whole restaurant was full of camp women.
Oh, that's great.
And so I, you know, walked around and sat with each table and talked to them and learned all of their names. I think I can still tell you each one of their names. I like worked
that's
really
impressive.
hard. Yeah, I worked really hard that night to like make sure I knew each of them. At least that were at dinner. So probably about 20 girls. But yeah, so I felt like I did a really good job on Friday night.
That's great. I went home and just went to bed.
See? Again, I could not sleep.
So Friday night was great. I loved James and all the things that he taught us. Yeah. And one of my biggest takeaways from that session was the systems check. And just, you know, before you try to go do the next thing, just make sure that, you know, your hands are in the right place and your feet and everything, because I think I'm still so new to it. Like I know where I want to get to,
right? But
I don't always have everything where it needs to be.
Yeah.
And then if it's not, then it all just kind of goes to hell from there.
Yeah. So yeah, just having that like, okay, am I just taking that moment? Am I breathing? Yes. Okay, good.
Yeah. That's always helpful for me. Yeah. And then also the scoot sweep. I was like, I can actually do that.
Right. And it was so easy. And you watch it and you're like, that's not going to work. And you're like, oh my God, that works.
So that was definitely a big takeaway for me on Friday night.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
And then Saturday was a big day. We started at 9 a.m. Mm-hmm. Of course, I was there at like 7:30. But I was awake anyway. It didn't matter. Yeah. So we kicked off Saturday with yoga.
It was so nice. I haven't done yoga in ages. And just, it really throws in your face how out of balance you are if you haven't done it in a while. It's like, oh yeah, maybe I should go back to this.
Yeah. So my sister is actually the one that taught that.
She was great.
She did great. She just got certified just like a few weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. And when I was talking to her about teaching it, she was like, the biggest class I've ever taught was 13 people. And I was like, I mean, like, unless you're doing, you know, yoga on the monument circle or something like that.
Right.
Most people haven't taught to a room of 160. Like,
yeah.
So, but I thought she did phenomenal. She did such a good job.
It had a nice flow, and it felt like there was a little bit of something for everyone. So no matter what style you liked or, you know, what body parts you felt like you needed a good stretch in, it felt like she really did a nice job of kind of making it accessible for everyone. Yeah.
And she was really big on like honoring your body. Like if this hurts in a way that is more than just like it stretches, you know, don't do it. Like come out of it a little bit. Yeah. I thought she did a great job. And she had done research on why jiu-jitsu girls should do yoga or jiu-jitsu people should do yoga and talked about that throughout.
Yeah.
That's good. She did great. I mean, she's my little sister, so, you know.
Yeah. You can brag on her.
I can brag on her, but
exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, and I have her booked for next year. We've already talked about it. She's going to do Saturday and Sunday next year.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That'll be really nice to come in on Sunday too. To have
after
that.
Training all day Saturday, for sure.
Yes.
So then I ran a competition training. How was that for you?
Oh, yeah. That was good too. That at least felt a little more familiar.
Right. Because it's a lot of the drills and stuff that we do.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, here's some stuff that I can maybe do a little bit.
Yeah. I thought that went really well. There was a little chaos during the sweep, pass, or submit.
Yeah.
There were so many people.
Right.
But I think it went well still. I think it went really well.
Especially to have that many people there. It was great. I loved it. The drilling, I feel like, is always good for me.
Yeah.
I need more drilling.
Always. Always.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what level you're at. Always more drilling.
Yeah, definitely. So that was good.
And then we brought in lunch. We brought in Moe's for everyone.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Which was nice. So typically at camps before, when we've done them at the jiu-jitsu school, we all just walk and go eat somewhere, which is fine. But this kind of like enabled us to just relax a little bit more and stay together and
good bonding time.
It was. And we had a ton of food. I was worried we wouldn't have enough. We did. We had plenty.
Yeah.
And then Emily Kwok's section.
Oh my gosh. I can't even say enough good things about that.
She's so prolific. You just want to write down everything she says.
My notebook was pretty full of a lot of things.
Just the inspirational quotes that she's not saying them to be inspirational quotes, but that's what we're taking them as, right?
Right.
Yeah. We're like, oh, write that down. That's it. And she did something really cool at the beginning where she kind of broke us up and had us do like a team challenge. We had like 15 teams. And I thought that was great. It really bonded each of the teams and kind of got you like meeting other people in a fun way.
Right.
So, yeah.
Good for those that don't necessarily like to be out of their social comfort zone.
Right.
Right.
So yeah, I thought that went really well.
Yeah, I love that. And it was nice. It all goes back to that team thing. Then it felt like these are my people.
Right.
So even when you would break up, but you would go back to them and it still felt like you had some people there.
And you knew who to look to like help you.
Right.
So that was good.
I liked at the beginning how she broke us out by belt too.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty
How did
cool.
that look? Because I assume you were in one of the back lines.
I was in one of the back lines, yes.
So how did that look from your perspective? Did it just look
It looked
insane?
really cool.
Yeah.
It looked really cool because it felt like you can get there because there's something that happens, I think, when you actually see the people physically in your space that have come before you and that you just know that you can go to help get you to that level. And then, as you're sitting in the back row, you're like, man, I hope that there's something that I'm doing to help push them further in their journey.
Yeah. And kind of, she talked a lot about like looking around, that you're a part of everyone's journey.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was all really cool.
One of the other things that I really loved was it was basically permission to tap into your inner warrior. That like some days it's okay to just go out and collect heads. And I think I really needed to hear that because I feel like, especially as a business owner and as a wife, we are oftentimes trying to accommodate other people and you want to go to class and you want to be a good training partner there. But sometimes you just have to go out and tap into that warrior and take care of yourself.
Especially if you're planning to compete, like that's something you have to be able to, like for me, when I first started the women's classes, because I was so big on helping the women and like you do something and I'll react to that kind of in that mode. So competition for, a while there, James noticed me doing it. He like, you don't try to do anything. You wait to see what they're going to do. Like, like you would one of your girls in class. And so that's huge, especially if you're going to compete. You have to be able to tap into that. And I also like she said something to the extent of that moment you're closest to winning is also the moment you're closest to losing.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that was interesting.
So many things to think about.
I know. It's interesting. Like she kind of changed some of our girls' lives. I mean, really, like
I can totally see that.
One of the girls was really talking about like, she would have never asked a higher ranked girl to roll until talking to, or like hearing Emily say all the stuff about, being a part of everyone's journey and all of that. And, she went and asked Rachel to roll and she's like, I've never done that before.
That's cool.
So, yeah.
That's really cool. And one of the other things that I got out of her session was being proactive. And it kind of goes back to what you said about making people react to you, because I'm very much, and like I noticed this off the mat too.
Yeah.
I'm very much just kind of sit and wait and see what happens and what I need to do, rather than I'm going to go in there and this is my plan and this is what I'm going to make happen and they can deal with it.
Absolutely. Like sometimes you just have to be, you need your game plan, right? Like this is what I'm going to do. Yeah. If it doesn't go exactly that way, like we can course correct, but this is what's going to happen. I think that's an important part of success on and off the mat.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was great. And we learned some Jiu Jitsu stuff too.
Right. Yeah. We sound like it was all very, kumbaya, but I mean, it wasn't, like it was hard work and it was a lot of fun.
I really liked how she broke what we were learning down into very small, digestible steps. And then I think then there was a chance to apply the systems check from the night before.
Right.
To, are my feet in the right place? And, are my hands in the right place? Am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? And to really just get that feeling in your body before trying to go through and put all of it together.
Yeah.
It was very helpful for me.
So then Sunday, we all come in exhausted.
Right, pretty much.
But still good. Like, I mean, everybody was, like nobody came in really dragging. I mean, maybe they were tired, but everyone was still excited.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Sunday's always interesting because like you're tired from 3 days of training, but you also kind of don't want it to end.
Right.
Like, there's just this kind of like, oh, I don't want it to be the last day.
Yeah, exactly.
In Rachel's section, I love Rachel. I mean, you know that. We talk about her a lot, but she's such a bulldog, like I love watching the video clips from camp and like, she's, yelling and like, if you run into somebody, it's your fault. You are responsible for like your own space. And she's great. And she did the floss stuff and I like that a lot.
That's something I definitely want to incorporate.
Yes.
I haven't been able to pull it off yet, but I've got aspirations and goals now.
I was just reading on the camp page because we have a private group for the camp. And one of the girls was saying that she's been working on it ever since camp. And last night she like really strung a guy up and then they both kind of fell and she went face first into his crotch. And she was like, that's not really what I wanted to happen. But she's like, but it's working. Like the floss stuff is all working. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. I thought that was funny. She's like, kind of embarrassing, but here we are.
Exactly. It's jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, exactly. Things happen.
I will admit at one point during Rachel's session, I was like, oh my God, I paid money to come
for this torture.
Be tortured like this. But then it's like you get through it and you feel so accomplished. Like I did do it and I can do it. And one of the things that I loved about what she was talking about is just because you haven't tried it doesn't mean that you can't do it.
Right.
And I often maybe have that in my head. I can't do that because I don't know how.
Right. And she kept saying, no one's ever died.
Right.
That was like the theme for her day. No one has ever died. You'll be fine. Like,
yeah.
And then, but a lot of people said that, that they were trying stuff because just like that. Well, all right, you're right. Nobody's died. I'm going to try it. So,
well, and for me, the drills that we were doing from being on our heads, that was I was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this. Yeah. Well, I know how I felt about it, but I tried it anyway because I'm like, I don't want to get called out for not trying.
Right.
It's one thing to do it and suck and that's fine, but don't get called out for not even trying.
Exactly. So we ended camp with Q&A, which the audience will get to hear some in the next few weeks about that.
I'm so excited.
What'd you get from the food trucks? Did you get food?
I didn't.
You didn't even get food? Oh, I'm so sorry. Because you were dealing with the podcast
Yeah.
portion.
I'll get food next year.
Okay. All right. I'm telling you that turmeric ice cream was amazing.
It looked pretty good.
It was so good. And they were so thankful for us like having them out for camp. She brought me like 2 giant containers of it.
Nice.
So James and I ate all of that. It was delicious.
Oh,
but
that's
it was vegan because I don't really do a lot of dairy. So it was a vegan turmeric ice cream.
Really?
Yeah, it was really good.
It all looked good and smelled good.
I'm so sorry.
Especially the
fries. I didn't even like notice that you weren't eating. So
that's okay. Like I was sitting around talking to people and then it was like, oh, we got to do the podcast.
Yeah.
So that was fine. Yeah.
But I think people are going to enjoy the different subjects we talked about and we'll kind of dive into those a little more in the future.
That's all going to be really good stuff. So if you have not subscribed to the podcast yet, make sure that you are subscribing so that these episodes will magically show up in your feed because you are not going to want to miss them. I mean, really just the wisdom of both Emily and Rachel about things, not just jiu-jitsu stuff, just life in general was really good.
Yeah. It's interesting because the 5 previous camps, I've always answered in the Q&A too. So like I've always been one of the, people, because I've been around a million years. I'm not a black belt, but I've been in the game a long time. So but this time, I think partially because of the podcast, I kind of stayed quiet and was like, I'll just answer when you and I are talking.
We'll get to do our own commentary.
Exactly.
So that's definitely something to look forward to in future episodes because we are going to kind of break those Q&A questions down and turn them into their own episodes.
Yeah, it'll be good. All right. So for our on and off the mats this episode, we're going to talk about all of the sponsors that we got for camp. We had a lot of great sponsors. So first I'd like to thank all of them, but the ones that sponsored all of the women. So BJJ Tees got us all tank tops, and they have provided shirts. Actually, in this current moment, I'm wearing one of the old camp shirts, but they have provided t-shirts or tank tops for every camp we've done ever. And literally, as you see me throughout the summer, I'm pretty much always in a BJJ Tee shirt. They're my favorite. Fuji provided a gi, so that went into the raffle. Vade protein. So have you had your Vade yet?
I haven't.
Okay, so this is such an interesting thing. The packs come in like this food grade plastic. I mean, it's not plastic, but like food grade material. I don't know what it is. But you put the whole like pod in your water bottle and shake it up. So you don't have to like scoop it. Which is great for like, especially for traveling or like in your gym bag or something. So they gave protein, vanilla and chocolate to every woman at camp. Warrior CBD also gave CBD to all the women at camp.
Nice.
So that's nice. Like a salve. Let's see. Strychnine. They donated stuff for the raffle, tank tops and stuff. Defense Soap. Defense Soap is another one that has sponsored every camp we've ever done.
Cool.
So every woman got a bar of soap.
Yes.
Which, you know, we've talked about Defense Soap before. I love them. They're great. Fin Scrub also did a bunch of bars of soap. So we did, if they filled out the exit survey, they got a bar of the Fin Scrub. So that was cool. GRRRL. So GRRRL donated $20 gift certificates to every woman at camp. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah. I ordered 2 tank tops, so hopefully they'll be here soon. Which are like, you know, not my first girl clothing. Origin, they sent some protein. They sent some of their vitamins for a bunch of the girls. And then, a rash guard. I was like, something else. Yeah. OSS Clothing sent shirts and a gi. Fenom sent a gi. Jiu Jitsu Cowgirl sent some makeup. Solo Jitsu, the cards where you like,
people were super excited about those.
Hit. Yeah, those were a huge hit. I think they sent like 10 decks of cards. Let's see. Jiu Jitsu Soap also sent some soap. Yeah, so we had lots of show your roll stuff, but that was thanks to Rachel and Emily because they're both show your roll sponsored athletes. Yeah, so lots of great companies, and I always appreciate when the girls post pictures of those things or, you know, thank the company specifically because that's what will make them like, if they know they made a difference, that's what's going to make them show support for camps in the future.
Exactly.
So, and I already have people contacting me saying, hey, just so you know, we want to sponsor camp next year.
Yay.
And as I'm like, okay, just so you know, there's probably going to be 200 girls there. And they're like, let's do it. It's fine. We'll do it. So yeah. So already working on sponsors for 2020.
Perfect.
Yeah. If you're interested in camp for next year, you know, shoot me a message, whether that's on Instagram or Facebook, and I'll put you in the private group. So it's a role model women's only grappling camp is the group, I think. But we have a private group that people can share different things on there. But we'll keep everyone posted. And when we do open registration up, the people that are in that group will know first.
Do you know what the dates are for next year?
Yes, of course I do. I'm a crazy person. They are May 1st through the 3rd.
Okay.
So next year's leap year. So that, changes what the dates fall a little bit. So May 1st
Oh,
through
no,
the 3rd.
May the 4th this year.
I know. No, May the 4th.
I loved all the Star Wars shirts. It's like, you guys really are my people.
Yeah. So it changes our dates a little bit. But yeah, so that's when camp will be. We're already looking at bigger facility and more mat space and all of that. So.
Right on.
And looking at instructors. I have picked out who I want for Friday night. I'm working on who's going to teach the main section on Saturday. And yeah, it's going to be good.
I can't wait. I'm ready.
I know. I'm so excited.
Thanks for spending some time with us today. Now you know what we're going to ask you to do. We're going to ask you to share this episode with anyone else that you think should hear it, because we know that you know somebody else that would benefit from this. Or think about who you want to invite to go to camp with you next year and share it with them so they can get a little insight into what that experience looks like. And let's continue the conversation. We are hanging out on Instagram. You will find me there at Brassy Broad Jen.
And I'm AJ Clingerman. And together we are Beauty and the Gi podcast.
Yes, you will find us there. Follow us, message us. do all the things. Let's keep the conversation going. And we will see you on the mat.